years ago, I found out I might have just months left to live. I was diagnosed with a rare and life-threatening autoimmune disease called diffuse cutaneous systemic scleroderma. The symptoms started with a sports injury that never healed and continued to progress over time. Now, as a medical doctor, you'd think I would have added up all the signs. But I was in denial, because if I acknowledged the facts, I would have to face the consequences. Right now, there is no cure for my illness, but I've undergone a highly experimental stem cell transplant twice. We still don't know the outcome. Look, I can't choose how much time I have left, but I can decide how I spend it. And that's why I want to focus on challenges that actually can be fixed right now. So, why am I telling you this? Well, because just like me, we as a global community have been in denial for too long. We refuse to add up all the alarming signs that the global temperatures are rising, plants and animals are going extinct at a staggering rate, and the epidemics of diseases are escalating. I fear if we keep ignoring the gravity, the urgency, and the links in our global predicament, we will miss out on our best opportunity to fix it. Because, unlike with my illness, for these challenges, there actually is a cure. A combined cure for both human health and the environment. This cure can mitigate climate change, protect land and oceans, and help save crucial ecosystems like the Amazon, the Arctic, the Antarctic, the rainforest of Borneo. And if that's not enough, let's throw in the Great Barrier Reef too. This cure will save millions of kids from dying and prevent many more millions of people from heart attacks, strokes, and diabetes. And the best thing is, it's available right now. So, what is it? What is it? No, it's not something right out of MIT. It's not a new superdrug. I'm talking about food. It's food. Today, almost 800 million people still go hungry. Obviously, food can fix that. At the same time, more than 2 billion people are now overweight or obese. Food can fix that as well. And the single biggest driver of both climate change and loss of biodiversity is the agricultural sector. Yes, food can fix a lot about that too. If we get it right on food, we can fix some of our greatest global challenges. Of course, there are scientific questions yet to be answered, and actual types of food will obviously differ from country to country. But still, there are 3 simple science-based principles that we can act on right now. Some of you might have heard them before from food journalist Michael Pollan and others, and that's great because they can't be repeated often enough. The first principle is eat mostly plants. No, I'm not telling you to become a vegetarian or even a vegan. But overall, the world needs to eat more plants, like fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, and less animals. Although meat is a good source of protein, most of us are currently eating way too much of it. We know that high intake of meat increases the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and several cancers. And therefore, health authorities recommend less than 500 grams, no more than about 1 pound of red and processed meat per week. Still, in many Western countries, we are now eating more than twice as much. That's the equivalent of 8 quarter-pounders a week on average. Not only is this bad for health, but it's a huge problem for the environment. The livestock industry emits more greenhouse gases than all the world's cars, trains, planes, and ships combined. It takes up a quarter of all land on Earth and is one of the really big drivers of deforestation. So, as a physician and an environmentalist, I believe the case for less meat is crystal clear. And now, even economists agree. If we all simply followed the dietary guidelines on meat, the world could save more than $700 billion a year in healthcare costs. $700 billion. That's about 7 times as much as we spend on cancer drugs globally each year. And this staggering estimate is before we ever even include the costs of the livestock industry's environmental impact. So, eat mostly plants. The second principle is eat real food. What do I mean by real food? Well, food can be grown, obviously, or manufactured. Food processing is energy demanding and typically uses lots of fossil fuel, and therefore is an environmental issue. And the more food is processed, the worse it tends to be for our health. Here in the US, more than half of all daily calories come from so-called ultra-processed food. Foods loaded with artificial additives, too little fibers, vitamins and minerals, too much fats and salt, and lots of added sugar. In fact, in many ways, sugar is the new tobacco. Up to 40% of the healthcare spending in this country is directly related to people consuming too much sugar. So, for bodies and budgets in particular, try to eat food wrapped in a peel, not a package. The third and last principle is enjoy just enough and waste none. Sorry guys, but size does matter. I say the smaller the better, at least when it comes to portions. Since the 70s, the average serving size has more than doubled, but our metabolism hasn't kept up. So, excess food ends up around our waistlines or in our waste bins. In fact, 1/3 of everything we produce is never eaten. Producing, distributing, and handling all this food that goes to waste has become a major challenge for the environment. If we rated the greenhouse gas emission from food waste as a country, it would be the 3rd largest emitter only after China and the US. So, enjoy just enough and waste none. 3 principles for a better you and a better planet. It sounds so simple, so why aren't we just doing it? Well, we are not dumber, lazier, or less considerate than our parents. But in just a few generations, our food environment has changed dramatically. The modern food system has succeeded in producing more to eat, but has failed us in at least 3 important areas. First, it has failed on accessibility. More than 20 million Americans are currently living in food deserts, areas where healthy choices are either out of reach or out of budget. Even here in fruity California, you find schools where the closest you get to a fruit or vegetable is the tomato sauce on a frozen pizza. Why? Well, because secondly, the food system has failed on affordability. Junk food is actually engineered to both outlive and outprice fresh food, making pizzas cheaper than salads. And ironically, Even though a bottle of soda is full of funky ingredients, it often costs less than bottled water. Third, the food system has failed on convenience. You all know it. Sometimes you have to go out of your way to eat right, but you find snacks and junk on literally every street corner at every hour. So, now you're asking yourself, why has this happened? Why did the food system fail so massively? Well, one of the main reasons is the many players currently working independently. Experts, government agencies, food producers, food providers are all currently trying to make the most out of their piece of the puzzle, but they are failing to see the costs and the consequences for the whole picture. Let me give you an example. Today, one government agency can easily subsidize the production of wheat, corn, and soy, the main ingredients in fast food, while across the corridor, another agency funds anti-obesity campaigns and struggles to balance staggering healthcare budgets. This is not only a paradox, this is a massive systemic failure. But I'm confident we can get the system back on track, because change is happening. France just banned food waste from supermarkets. Mexico has introduced a tax on sugar. Food labs are coming up with tasty meat-free burgers. And forward-leaning restaurants are now digging into the growing market for fast and healthy takeouts. These guys are all part of a great movement of single steps to improve public health or to save the planet. But the thing is, we don't have time to solve one piece of the problem at a time. And we can't afford to risk fixing one challenge while accidentally creating a new one. And in addition, there are so many synergies between health and environmental agendas when it comes to food. But in order to leverage these synergies, we must connect the dots. So just imagine the speed and the scale of this movement if we started connecting the dots. If we connected the facts, the players, the money, and the great ideas. Right now, scientists are busy offering us piecemeal advice on what is good or bad to eat for health or for climate. But what if the scientists came together and started to collaborate across sectors and disciplines to develop a comprehensive roadmap on how to feed billions of people on a sustainable planet in a healthy way? And what if policymakers began to acknowledge and act on the true cost of food? What if they started to work across departments to develop coherent food policies? Many companies are already going beyond reformulating their products and now inventing new, truly sustainable and profitable business models. So what if all companies, from the small guys to the giant multinationals, took the leap from less bad to all good? Are you with me? It is possible to change the system. But we need one more thing. One more crucial thing, and that's you, me, us the consumers. How? Well, by casting our vote and by making small changes within our budgets in our daily food choices, by eating mostly plants, eating real food, enjoying just enough, and wasting none. By doing so, we invest in our own health and the planet's. But we also help create the support and demand to make quality food accessible, affordable, and convenient for everybody, everywhere. I love food, and we should all love food and act on it, because it represents the closest thing we get to a silver bullet to improve our own health and well-being and save the planet. Sure, someday someone might find a cure for my condition, or I want a cure for cancer. Someone else might find or develop a fancy technology to scale up carbon capture from the air. But if we keep our eyes and dreams fixed too far out on the horizon, we will miss the solution that's right in front of us, right now, which is food. Because food can fix it. Even small changes can make you healthier and happier, protect the planet, and ultimately help create a better future, not for millions, but for billions of people, starting today. Look, I don't have time. I don't have 50 years to wait. But let's face it, neither do you. Thank you.